This is Dan Rogers, your host on We the People Town Square, coming to you from the center of the universe, the high plains of Texas, near the headwaters of the Prairie Dog Town fork of the Red River.
Today is February 12th of 2024, and I am Cliff Barnwell, a host for We the People Town Square. And I'm here today to interview Kim Gray, a candidate for County Commissioner for Potter County, Precinct 3. Kim, why don't you start us off by telling us exactly why you decided you wanted to run as a county commissioner?
Well, back in 2018, I had an experience that kind of made the decision for me. I think just didn't know that it was going to come into the future. When this happened to me, I was at a voting poll, and at this point, I think this was the last year that we could do the straight ticket ballot.
Yep.
So I was voting on the machine, the electronic machine, and as I completed, it shifted the screen to the other party. So the straight ticket ballot that I had voted was not acknowledged. So I thought I'd done something wrong, so I changed, reset, redid, and the same thing happened. And then I thought, okay, there's got to be a problem. I don't think I've done this twice now. So I called the poll tender over. And when she came over there, she asked me who I'd voted for. And I told her simply, that was kind of private, but could we reset the machine and let me do this again? And when she did, I was able to vote, and my ticket did go through. Unbeknownst to me, that never reached. It fell on deaf ears, I guess. It was never.
And how did that make you feel, Kim?
That's what I felt. That it was completely unheard. Everything I said fell on deaf ears.
Wow. You witnessed the computerized voting machine actually altering your vote. Then you turned around and reported it, and they walked away from you and basically blew you off. If it were me, I guess I would be thinking that one of two things. Maybe it was a computer glitch, or possibly a cover-up of a known issue. What conclusion did you walk away with?
We have to do something different. We can't have electronic voting machines. And I will fight this till the very end. The one sacred thing that the United States has always held is our vote.
Well, Kim, it certainly sounds like you're ready to defend the integrity of our vote, and specifically the voters in Potter County. Let's move on a bit. There are a lot of different positions you could have run for. Tell us why you chose to run as a county commissioner.
They decide everything. They make all the decisions. They adopt your budgets and your tax rate, and they decide what needs to be repaired, what needs to be built. All of that these decisions are made through the Commissioner's Court, but the people should be a part of that.
Certainly the county commissioners of Potter County wield a great deal of power over every citizen in Potter County. I know you've been out visiting other departments in the county, and you recently went to the sheriff's department. Did you find anything interesting there?
The jail that needs to be, I believe, built, because we're housing right now over 500, almost 600 inmates. I mean, that's unbelievable. But we've got a new courthouse.
Certainly the jail is a good place to start looking for needs within Potter County, especially with the influx of illegal immigrants flooding into our state. It's certainly not difficult to look around Potter County and identify the current need. So why do you think that our county commissioners' meetings are not flooded with people standing up and demanding accountability?
It's not against the law to walk up to the courthouse and go in there on, is it the second and fourth Monday of the month?
Yep.
And walk in there and sit down and have discussions with these people about what's going on in this city. This is our government, the Potter County government, and that's what they're there for. But when I really think about this is just a small portion of what's going on. And that if people don't really start really thinking and getting upset about this stuff and stepping forward and moving forward and fighting this stuff and getting involved in your local government, we're not going to have any more elections is what's going to happen.
Well, Kim, certainly personal responsibility is the very foundation on which our republic is founded. I believe it was Dr. Martin Luther King who said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." One of the things that matters here in Potter County is the new courthouse. How much is it really going to cost? Where's the money coming from, and how much is our taxes going to be increased as a result of it? Now there's rumors that the second floor is uninhabitable, and that we may have to tear everything out over and start over again on that floor. Normal construction in Amarillo is overseen by a group of inspectors that work for the city of Amarillo. You can't build a building in Amarillo without having them come in to approve the building. Building inspections begin with a permit that's required by anybody building anything, and I know you've recently been looking into the permits regarding the county courthouse. Could you bring us up to date on that?
Trying to find out when and where the permits are, when they were pulled, where they're at. I can't seem to get anybody to answer that question when I call, because I'd like to know if we can see where the permits, when they were pulled, and really what all took place. On the old courthouse, it was built in 1986. They supposedly have deemed it dilapidated. Well, if that's the case, then it has to be either civil or structural. There has to be something saying, or was it like black mold or something like that? Then there has to be quantifying and qualifying. There has to be, all of this has to be lined up somewhere for the people to be able to go in there that have voted for this, to be able to find out exactly what they're doing and why they want to tear this courthouse down. And that's okay if this is putting people's lives in danger. I'm sure that nobody would mind that we're going to build a new courthouse. But the problem is none of this stuff has been produced. It's not open book. They didn't go to the voters. They pulled the certificate of obligation, left the voters out completely. And when Nancy Tanner gave, I believe it was an interview I read with Channel 4, it was just that she's really happy that she was going to go home that day. She made this decision, and she's going to do this, and they're going to build the new courthouse. But
I know I'm going to be looking forward to the end of that story and seeing all the pieces and how they fit together. But the story doesn't just end right at the new courthouse. There's a story about the old courthouse. We hear the old courthouse is going to be torn down. Is it because it was condemned? And if so, how do you condemn a courthouse?
This is what we have found, that the building has been deemed dilapidated. It's either a code 1, 2, or 3. It can be occupied for up to 5 years, possibly, depending on which code it is. Or it could be 12 months, or it could be immediate. Well, obviously not, because they are still sitting in that courthouse.
Well, Kim, it certainly sounds like the county commissioners there now have a lot of explaining to do. I know I'm going to be looking forward to the explanations that they give. I especially want to hear why they trust the electronic version of my vote rather than a piece of paper that I may have expressed my wants on. With that said, why don't we finish up our conversation by you telling us how we can contact you?
They can email me. My email is kim@kimgrayforcommissioner.com. And they can go on my website, kimgrayforcommissioner.com, or they can call me on my cell phone, 806-679-7144.